changed because of the war? For example, what activities were what activities is the government asking women to do? Okay, Victoria.
Those were the activities men were able to do because, well, men went to the war, so who else will do those activities? So the women did those activities until they went back to the war. Sorry, to the from the war. They went back from the war.
Okay, and what activities are these? ¿Y qué actividades son estas? ¿Qué espacios nuevos se abrieron para las mujeres a partir de la guerra? Either tell us. Come on, tell us what you wrote.
The book said something about a market in which men were working, and I also think um, women were able to working in mines um, because it also specified that women also were working in dangerous places and in
Oh,
dangerous
okay. Yes.
activities.
Okay, very good. And also tell us what you know, Santiago.
But they put the women like to do all the weapons and build houses and the things that the men do.
Okay, yes. The factories, work in the factories, excellent. Let me show you, for example, World War One, women, ammunition, factories. Let me show you something cool. So basically, a ver, dejo de compartirles presentación para compartirles mi pantalla de internet. No. En una pestaña. Pestaña nueva. Yes. Well, this is not that big of an image. I don't know why they look so small. It shouldn't be the case. I mean, we should be able to see them in full definition. I don't know why we can't. Okay, there. I mean, just how awesome is that? Look at these ladies surrounded by heavy artillery shells that they actually produce themselves. These are working women. These are mujeres obrero. Es que no hay una palabra en inglés para obrero. Solo workers. Just workers. These are working women. Women actually were... Les pusieron a producir lo más necesario para pelear en el frente. Munición de artillería pesada. Todo tipo de munición, de hecho. But this photography is very, very cool. I mean, look at the amount and just the size of this ammunition. It's crazy, but yes, actually, the we can consider that war unwillingly had a positive consequence for the liberation of women in terms of how they were incorporated into the workforce in the factories. Okay, and lastly, bah, and lastly, now I would like you to tell me to close up this activity, to close it up definitely, and do our last activity about the war. How did how did George Creel's propaganda machine, how all of these techniques, how all of these experiences selling the war influenced the future, in particular World War II? Okay, ¿cómo fue que la máquina de propaganda de George Creel influenció hasta la Segunda Guerra Mundial? What happened there? Yes.
Basically, the effectiveness of the propaganda machine was so great that other countries will try to sell the war to their own publics, no, in the oncoming World War II. Like Germany, Russia, France, Britain, Italy, Japan, the USA again. I think they even utilized some old posters from the previous war as well.
Okay. Yes, yes. Well, this is actually true. Give me just a moment to show you. Oh, here it is. I just found some incredible images. Here it is. Va, les comparto mi pantalla de internet de nuevo. So, yes, this is true, actually. Okay? When the Nazis actually got the power, when Adolf Hitler, for example, was appointed the chancellor of Germany, well, he started a propaganda campaign of his own. And this propaganda campaign actually used many of the iconic strategies. Yes, many of the iconic strategies and ideas and techniques developed by the Americans to sell ideas. No, esa es la que ya les mostré. Aquí está. And this is the same idea. This poster actually sells the same idea. This is a poster telling the people of Germany that they should work harder to provide resources for the army. But it is in the German side of World War II. And also, yes, this one is terrible. Well, the meaning of this expression is it's his fault. And of course, this guy is a Jew. This guy is a Jew. And he is portrayed as this very rich and evil individual. Also, propaganda propaganda actually advertising both Hitler and the National Socialist Army, just as well as the Soviet forces. And also, the same idea here. Do you guys remember the poster where the coal miner, the American coal miner, is side by side with the soldier? Well, this is the same idea. These are workers surrounding a young soldier. And also this one. This one, like paying homage to the women of Germany, to the Nazi women of Germany, and their role in society and of course in the war effort. Okay, so that's the last idea that I wanted you to think about. Okay, esta es la última idea que quería que vieran, que fueran conscientes de cómo la máquina de propaganda de George Creel y todas las técnicas que desarrolló para vender ideas las usaron los nazis después para vender su propio mensaje. La propaganda es peligrosa, es un arma de dos filos. Okay, here we are. Now, give me a moment. I am trying to properly select the questionnaire that I want to give to you about the Treaty of Versailles and how the war actually ended for Germany. Just one little moment, please. Aquí está. Okay, so we have actually finished the activity about the propaganda machine and the selling of the war. And now we are ready to do our final activity about World War I. We are almost done with World War I. Where is my... Here it is. The Treaty of Versailles. Y aquí están los dos links. Ahora sí. Ahora sí. Please, in whatever we have left of the class, please be so kind as to write this final activity in your notebooks so that we can finish with World War I in our next class on... We won't be seeing... I don't think we'll be seeing each other on Monday, but we will see each other on Wednesday. So, actually, de hecho, considerando que no nos vamos a ver el lunes, les voy a pedir que hagan esta actividad de tarea. Y les voy a pasar los links. Déjenme asegurarme que funcionan por el chat a todos. Pero sí necesito que tengan estas preguntas, así que por favor escriban estas preguntas en sus cuadernos. Ok, funciona el primer link correctamente. Y el segundo.
Signed in June of
Okay, both links work correctly. I will now share them with you. Okay, so boys and girls, this is our last activity about World War I. This is how the war ended. Okay, with the entry of the USA into the war, well, basically everything was lost for Germany because Germany had been fighting for so many years now, and it was very close to the point of exhaustion. And then this young American economy entered the war and basically fueled all of the Allies. So Germany lost the war. And this treaty is basically the result of the peace negotiations between all the different parties. So this is our last activity of World War I. Please write these questions in your notebook. I have shared now in the chat these links. Ya tienen estos enlaces en su chat. No van a hacer este cuestionario de tarea para el miércoles. En los 4 minutos que quedan de clase, escríbanme estas preguntas y en el último minuto que quede de clase, pero faltan 5, me escriben algo en el chat que aprendimos hoy. Pero ahorita escriban estas preguntas, todavía tienen tiempo. Very good, very good. Y conforme puedan, vayan escribiendo también algo en el chat que aprendimos el día de hoy. Victoria says, I learned how war propaganda was so effective. And precisely for that, war propaganda was so dangerous. If something actually works that well, it usually becomes a dangerous tool. The impact of war propaganda. Very good, Fernanda. Today I learned about the impact of war propaganda. I learned about the 4-Minute Men. Very good, Santiago, 4-Minute Men. About some posters and the ideas that they communicated in World War I. Good, Melissa, good. Okay, very good, Dana. How World War I helped the women to start working man jobs and how the propaganda helped. Naomi says how women started to be incorporated into Well, not into society, but into the workforce. Into the workforce. Paulo says, who were the 4-Minute Men and what they do? Exactly. So remember, they were volunteers working for the government, spreading ideas about the war. Mateo says, I learned how George's Krill propaganda machine influenced World War II. Very good. Excellent. Okay, you still have 2 minutes, 2 more minutes to write this. Si no terminan después de esos 2 minutos que nos quedan de clases, si se acaba el tiempo y no han terminado de escribir, pueden tomar una captura de pantalla para terminar de escribir su cuestionario apenas tengan tiempo. Okay, Ivana says, how the propaganda affected World War I. Very good, everybody. Excellent. Bien, ahora sí tómenle una captura de pantalla, por favor. Si no han terminado, tómenle una captura de pantalla. Debemos retirarnos a nuestra siguiente clase. Listo, ok. Ya, espero que todos tengan su captura de pantalla de estas preguntas si no terminaron de escribirlas para que luego puedan terminar. Muy bien. Muy bien, chicas y chicos, nos vemos el miércoles, ¿vale? Cuídense mucho, que pasen un excelente fin de semana.